So I wanted to show part of the section of a song I've been working on the last few weeks and explain some of the stuff I've been doing with each of these tracks here. I want to focus on this part here. I might show a little bit here and there, but this segment right here, I kind of want to go through track by track and show how they all interact together. So I use Mixcraft 10. It looks like I'm due for an update. And each of these are different instruments, different percussion, different drums, sounds. So let me start with the bass line for this section here. Let me zoom back out, and I'll just play some of it first before I start over explaining. So here's a little bit of what that sounds like. And you can also watch that on the actual plugin itself. This is the Ample Bass Y plugin. It's separate from Mixcraft. There's a whole bunch of plugins. They're called VSTs or soft synths that you can use on all kinds of different like digital audio workstations, which is what Mixcraft is. So it doesn't have to be just with this program. These are compatible with all kinds of different musical workstations. But you can see when it's being played what it looks like on here, which is really cool. And here, I don't know how to play bass or guitar, so this is like foreign language to me, this part here. I don't get that. But what is really cool about this, and I'm referring to the bass plugin itself, not specifically this bass line that I have, although it is pretty cool, actually. But there's different articulations, different ways the bass can be played, which result in very different sounds. So, like you saw the melody of the bass line being played here, these notes down here are not part of what you hear. They're not part of the melody itself. These are triggers. So this one is just triggers the bass to be played with regular sustained notes, which is what you've been hearing so far. And then when it gets to this note, it switches to slap bass. And that's the new trigger for this section, and then back down to sustain. So basically, when you look at the bass line for the section, the same thing repeats 3 times in a row. And this is the slap, and then this is the sustain. So basically, it's sustained the entire way, and then this section here, this one here, and this one here. Every time there's like that little run of notes here, it switches to slap bass. So let me just play that, and you'll hear, you'll know what I mean if you don't already. But here we go. There's the trigger, and then back to sustain, and then back to slap here. I just really like that. I think that sounds so cool. I mean, just the slap bass sound in general, but being able to switch back and forth like that makes it feel so much more natural. Like back in the day with Cakewalk and my old Casio keyboard, like electric bass, slap bass, fingered bass, fretless bass, those are all entirely different like patches. And now I can just have all the bass all on one track and just switch back and forth like it's actually being played in real time. And the bass player is just slapping out that section and then switching back for the next one. Now, underneath that, I got the drums, and this might be a little harder to see what's going on here, but if I zoom in, so with the bass line, you know, all these notes were like different parts of the melody. With the drums, you can see on the left-hand side here, every row is mapped to a different part of the drum set. So like the bass drum is here, the snare is here, and this is, it says electric snare, it's actually just a regular snare. I can change these labels to more accurately match the exact drum set I'm using, or if I swap out one of these pieces of the drum kit with something else, but usually I don't bother changing them because you know, if I know what it is for that song, then I know what it is, and, you know, there you go. But like the toms and crash cymbal and stuff, so I'll just play it. Did I solo out? Yes, I did solo out the drums. Okay. There's the snare. Dun, 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 dun. It's really cool because, I mean, I can't play drums in real life. I mean, I could probably, you know, do like a little simple beat, but with this program, I can write the drums to sound as complex or as straightforward as I want. So just to show off a little bit, I just like this little fill here. It's nothing like too mind-blowing, but it just sounds cool, like this part right here, when it switches from one section to another. And of course, I gotta point this out. You heard the cowbell, right? I'm told the cowbell is very important. I just want to make sure that guy got his spotlight too. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot more I can say about how these things are written, but basically that's what it looks like when it's being played. And I can just, like, you know, add in notes or play it on my USB keyboard if I want. But there's the drums. So back to this main section I wanted to focus on. I also have this other lo-fi drum kit on top of or underneath kind of the main kit. And it's just for this section here, but you see it sounds a bit more muted. It also has some different drums or percussion in the drum set. So like this lo-fi kit has this one. That's not a tom. It says low tom, but like I said, I don't usually change the label unless I really can't remember. And I just have that going on at the same time as the main kit for this section because it just sounded more complete. So if I just had the regular drums and then just the lo-fi, but together you get this. Now, how about the melody? Because, you know, it's not just the drums and the bass. So it's the same couple of measures being repeated here throughout this section here. So actually, I'm going to show this one first. It's the same melody, but I just want to point this one out first because it sounds cool. So this is the main melody going on top of the bass and the drums that you just heard. And you know, now we're back to regular notes. There's no labels, no drum kits, just the actual notations themselves. And you can follow along to hear what that sounds like. I also have an effect going on top via a plugin called Guitar Rig 7. This is probably an entirely different video to make. Just the absurd amount of fine-tuning and variations you can do with this plugin itself is just, it can do pretty much anything you would want for adding different types of distortion and other effects onto your instruments. But to deactivate that and just hear what it sounds like without it, and then with it. So you'll notice in this part here, the other melody and same thing like with the lo-fi kit. There's a lot that's kind of like sounds kind of muted, kind of fuzzy, kind of distorted, like it's being played from an old vinyl or an old speaker or something like that. And that's just, I just like, for the ambience of this section, that's just what I wanted to go for. So like with this same kind of thing, I have an effect on top to make it sound like it's coming from like an old cassette or something. hear how it kind of like warbles a little bit. It sounds kind of muted, distorted. I really like this instrument, by the way. I just want to I want to focus on this for a second. This cloud drum. Cloud drum. Let me play it without the effect, actually, first. I just really like that sound. It was such a cool instrument. But with this kind of a distortion effect on top, what you get is this. Yeah, so there's a lot more going on in this song, a few other things in the background here, like this little percussive thing that's might be kind of hard to hear, but at the end of every segment, I think you only hear it like 3 times in this whole section, I have this playing, the cartel, I don't know, I don't think I pronounced that right, but let me just play that. It's just like this little... You hear that? And then, so I'm gonna just like boost the volume and you can really hear it more as it kind of leads in from one section to the next. Actually, I don't think you could really hear that much at all. I think it's too quiet, but anyway, that's what that is. So, yeah, I think I kind of already played it all together for the most part. And then, oh yeah, there is this other track here, kind of another distortion effect on the electric piano. And this just kind of plays some chords at the end. So like before, I'll show you without the effect. And then with. So putting it all together, you've kind of already heard it, but I'll just play this section from back here through the end of it, and you can kind of get a better feel for how it all fits together. Actually, I'll go back further, because you haven't heard anything from this section yet, and this will give you an idea of how this part of the song feeds into what you've been hearing with all these different individual parts, and then I'll stop it before we get to the last part of the song, because it's not done yet. But I'll just start right here. Watch for that slap bass. Oh yeah. Cool, if I may say so myself. Man, there's so much more I kind of want to show, but I'm thinking like, how long should this video be? you know what? I'll save some of this for another video, but just to give an idea of some of the other things I want to go over, because this is, honestly, this has been kind of just random. Like, I wanted to share part of that section, but I didn't really, it definitely didn't have like a script, you can probably tell. I think in the future, I want to make videos that are a bit more specific to what I want to share and not just kind of like me rambling and randomly choosing stuff. For example, this guitar part here, this could be, there's a lot I could say about this one. This guitar plugin is like $100, but it's really freaking cool. There's so many different articulations and sounds, and if I get started talking about it, that's going to be a whole nother video, but I just want to show what it sounds like just on its own. And there is one part of this actually I do want to show, because I haven't showed this at all yet, and that is the pitch wheel and how the pitch bend can affect the notes. So let me just play a little bit. Anyway, you can hear what it sounds like. So you hear, this is the pitch wheel down here. The middle part is like the natural pitch, and then you can kind of draw up and down to bend the note in whatever way you want, up or down, 2 notes, 3 notes. I can make this go up 12 or down 12 for a full octave. It's set to 2 notes up and 2 notes down by default. So that's why this part here sounds kind of like, you can kind of hear it bending up and down a little bit, like a little bit of a modulation on these notes, just for an added accent kind of. So you hear that? It's kind of subtle, but it sounds different, right? It's not like, yeah. And this one also a little bit of a bend, but I like this one a lot. It's just one little note, but I just love the way the bend sounds here. So I gotta kind of put a spotlight on it and just play this whole section. Actually, probably be the better way to do it, but watch for this part here. I love how that sounds. I'll play the whole riff from, I guess here. Oh no, here actually is where it begins, I think. Cool, I love that. Here comes the bend. And I have another guitar on top of that, and I'm getting a little too far into next video territory probably, but that one had that bend there too. But yeah, it's if I could go back in time and show a younger version of me playing on Casio keyboards what is possible now with the software and the sounds and instruments and programs we have, I would like have trouble even wrapping my mind around it. And it's an amazing thing, the technology we have to write music like this. But it's also something that makes me get stuck sometimes, because I can spend like an hour, 2 hours, literally just trying different like styles of the bass guitar. Like, do I want this or do I want like that? Or do I want to have some other effect on top, you know, something like that? That sounds crunchy. But yeah, I get kind of stuck sometimes, just like trying out all these different combinations, all these different sounds, and just having so much fun with it that I almost forget that, you know, I'm actually writing a song. I'm not just trying to like hear all the different variations, although that's fun too. But yeah, lots more to share and more music coming hopefully in the near future. But just wanted to show a little bit of that now. And yep, I'll see you in the next video.